As humans, we're all part of a bigger plan, an unexplainable universe created for reasons that can only be explained by theory or belief. There are over 7 billion people in our world, each one trying to achieve a certain life goal and trying to survive as the world throws its obstacles, problems, and catastrophes in their way. Yet as enormous and vast as our world is, we are all intertwined by one single, inevitable, and remarkably beautiful truth. Each circumstance, each thought, each view, each dilemma, and each decision we make will ultimately affect others and the rest of the world. And somehow, although this truth stares at us with relentless eyes, we often look away from a chance to make a difference. Many of us make excuses or even look down on those that care only of themselves when we may do the same things of those we criticize. Abraham Lincoln once said, "He has a right to criticize who has a heart to help." But who needs help, and why should we help them? According to the National Alliance to End Homeless, there are more than 500,000 people in the U.S. experiencing homelessness on a given night. If that isn't enough, according to Children International, over 3 million children per year die of starvation, which is almost half of the total deaths. What about jobs? As one statistic reported, there are over 200 million people unemployed across the globe, and what's surprising, about 2% of the people unemployed in America have bachelor's degrees. On a smaller scale, hundreds of thousands of adults in America live without vehicles. According to the American Public Transportation, a little over 10 billion Americans took public transportation. It is nearly impossible to drive anywhere without seeing at least one person or family walking to their destination. In almost every city I've lived or visited in America, there are homeless people, including children, sleeping on the streets. I'd bet my life that each person listening to this message has seen at least one hungry person either digging through a garbage can for food or begging for anything to survive. And yet, as we drive by in our beautiful cars that, according to the U.S. Today, cost Americans an average of over $500 a month, we are oblivious to our own blessings that provide us our jobs, our paychecks, our steak and seafood dinners, and our luxuries. It is easy to make comments such as, "Why should I feel sorry for these people? I've worked hard for my life and went to college." Or maybe, "They are all on drugs or alcoholics. Why should I help them?" But if you asked around your circle of family and friends, at least one is unemployed or working at a job that doesn't pay the bills. Does that mean everyone that is homeless, unemployed, starving, or without a vehicle is worthless? Although I am sure there are people that are in need that have substance abuse problems, does that mean they are not worthy of saving? Or is it possible that maybe, just maybe, some of these people just need a break, a chance, a prayer, a spiritual lift, or a shine of hope? What about their children? Is it their fault? Should we look down on them too? Don't they deserve a chance at a good life? Regardless of how we live our lives, it is proven that the most commonly shared feelings of those experiencing their last days alive are of regret. We don't look back at our lives and wish we spent more, used more, wasted more, or helped less. And ironically, although many of us do not follow any religion or believe in any God, at our last breath, many will pray that if judgment is passed, we will somehow be worthy of afterlife. F. Scott Fitzgerald tells us, our lives are defined by opportunities, even the ones we miss. We would rather spend more money on more stuff that we don't need and that we will eventually throw away and will end up at the dump than to help someone who doesn't have the basic needs such as food, transportation, clothing, and shelter. Will you leave this life regretting the opportunity to help others? Why is it, if all of this is true, do we refuse to help when help is needed? Why do we pretend not to see the opportunities that stand directly in front of us and turn the other cheek when we could simply spare a dime, a minute, a prayer, or a voice? We have all experienced some part of our life when we could have used help, whether financially, morally, or spiritually. Many of us can look back at our lives and remember a time when we wished we received help, but never did. One of the most commonly used words that can be translated across every language on earth is hope. Some will argue that life can be achieved without hope, as long as there is determination. But as reality and history has shown, when the world delivers unexpected hardship, even to the toughest and most determined individual, it is hope that brings instant peace, hope that heals wounds, and hope that brings people together. For some, hope is all they have. Hope that they have the strength to endure, hope that they can provide for their family, hope that they can make the right decisions, but most of all, hope that they can count on their fellow neighbor when times are tough. Martin Luther King tells us we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Helping others provides hope for our humanity. We can live our life pretending that we have it worse. We can pretend we are doing everything we can, and we can ignore the opportunities to make a difference. But the only way to forget your problems, the only way you can live without regret, is to take every opportunity to make a difference. As Will Smith reminds us, if you're not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. Your life will become better by making other lives better. In my life, when I started to focus on other people's problems, it seems my own problems found their own solutions. In some way, either by the grace of God or the circle of life, the voids in my life, whether financial, spiritual, or emotional, seemed to be filled each time that I made a difference in someone else's life. Is this coincidence? This video is a simple reminder that we all have the opportunity to make a difference. As I said in the beginning of this message, just one choice can change a person's life forever. There is someone that is clinging to hope, that has endured the worst, yet is too proud to ask for help. Would you rather make a choice that ends in doing nothing? Or would you rather be able to look in the mirror tomorrow and know that your choice yesterday filled someone's hope? Would you rather live your life to make a difference or end your life wishing you did? Life has a funny way of coming back at you, and most of us like to call this karma. So the ending question is simple. What kind of karma will you create today? Make a difference today, because tomorrow it may be you that needs help.